Foundation begins on the planet Synax, a flooded, theocratic world where science is outlawed and intellectuals are persecuted. Here we meet Gall Dornick, a brilliant young mathematician who secretly solves the famed Abraxas conjecture, a problem no one else has cracked. This achievement draws the attention of Hari Seldon, a controversial imperial scientist and mathematician. He invites her to Trantor, the capital of the Galactic Empire. Trantor is a planet-sized city at the heart of civilization, ruled by the Cleonic dynasty, a lineage of clones descended from Emperor Cleon I. The dynasty exists in a cycle of 3 living clones at any time: Brother Dusk, the retired former ruler; Brother Day, the active ruler; Brother Dawn, the youngest in training. Hari Seldon reveals to Gall that he's developed psychohistory, a revolutionary mathematical model that can predict the behavior of large populations. His forecasts are bleak. The empire is doomed to collapse, followed by a 30,000-year dark age. His solution: create a foundation, a group of scientists who will preserve knowledge and culture to reduce the Dark Age to just 1,000 years. The Empire considers Hari's predictions heresy. He and Gall are arrested for sedition and brought before the emperors. But before judgment can be passed, the Empire's Star Bridge, a massive orbital space elevator, is destroyed in a terrorist attack, killing over 100 million people. The Empire blames Anacreon and Thespis, 2 rebellious Outer Rim worlds. In retaliation, Brother Day orders the execution of their ambassadors and the orbital bombardment of their home planets, annihilating cities and wiping out Anacreon's royal family. Brother Day sees an opportunity. Instead of executing Seldon, he exiles him, Gall, and a group of loyal scientists to the remote planet Terminus, ostensibly to build the Encyclopedia Galactica. But this is actually the beginning of the Foundation. On the journey to Terminus, Gall grows close to Hari's adopted son, Raich Foss. But one night, Raich murders Hari. As Hari secretly instructed, he feared his continued presence would disrupt the psychohistorical plan. Raich places Gall in a cryopod and ejects her into space, ensuring she survives. Raich is executed for treason, and the colonists land on Terminus, leaderless and confused. Decades later, the Foundation has become a self-sufficient colony. Outside the settlement stands a strange artifact, the Vault, which emits a null field that renders people unconscious when approached. Only one person can resist it: Salvor Hardin, the colony's warden. Salvor also experiences visions and flashes she doesn't understand, often involving a woman she's never met, Gall Dornick. Then Anacreon attacks. Led by the vengeful Pharakheon, Anacreons destroy the Foundation's comm satellite and take over Terminus. Their goal: use the Foundation's resources to locate and reactivate a lost Imperial warship, the Invictus, a powerful battlecruiser capable of planetary destruction. They plan to use it to strike back at the Empire. Salvor is taken aboard the Invictus. The ship, damaged and unmanned for decades, randomly jumps through space. Salvor unites her captors and allies, repairs the ship, and pilots it back to Terminus, where it crash lands just outside the settlement. She discovers the entire colony, including Foundation scientists, Anacreon soldiers, and her own mother, unconscious, affected by the Vault's null field that has expanded over the area. Salvor, seemingly unaffected, approaches the Vault and uses the Prime Radiant to activate it. The null field recedes, and the unconscious individuals begin to awaken. However, peace is short-lived as Farah launches a final, desperate attack. Consumed by vengeance for her family, who were killed during the Empire's orbital bombardment, Farah refuses any notion of peace. Believing the Foundation to be an extension of Imperial power, she attempts to destroy the Vault. In the ensuing confrontation, Salvor is forced to kill her. The Vault activates. Hari Seldon appears, not in the flesh, but as a fully interactive digital copy of himself, created before his death. He reveals, the terrorist attack on Trantor was foreseen. The Empire's brutal retaliation was necessary to push Anacreon, Thespis, and the Foundation toward cooperation. The Invictus can simulate a supernova, a bluff that will keep the Empire away from the region, giving the Foundation time to grow in secret. With Farah dead, the Foundation, Anacreon, and Thespis begin to forge a new society together. Back on Trantor, Brother Day, facing opposition from a powerful religious order known as Luminism, travels to the planet Mertul to prove his divinity through an ancient trial. He walks a deadly pilgrimage but receives no vision, a sign he may not have a soul. He lies to the High Priestess and claims he did. She accepts it publicly, but privately, his robotic advisor Demerzel, the only remaining robot from a forgotten era, knows the truth. She worships the religion herself and is torn between duty and faith. Meanwhile, Brother Dawn, now a teenager, has a secret. He's colorblind, the result of a mutation. The Cleonic system depends on perfect genetic replication. Any flaw means disqualification and death. Dawn falls in love with a palace gardener, unaware she is part of a long-running anti-Empire conspiracy. Years ago, rebels sabotaged the DNA of Cleon's clone bank to introduce mutations. Their goal: replace a clone with their own double, and eventually install a puppet emperor. Their plan nearly works, until Brother Dusk uncovers the plot. All conspirators are executed. Dawn begs for mercy, but Demerzel kills him. She serves not individual emperors, but the Cleonic dynasty as a whole. Brother Day then learns a horrifying truth. He, too, is genetically compromised. The clone bank is tainted. He chooses to say nothing. 34 years after her ejection, Gal awakens aboard the automated starship Raven. She finds the ship empty. A digital version of Hari Seldon appears, created just before his death. He confirms Raich was following his orders, and explains why his own removal was necessary. Hari offers Gal leadership of a second foundation he plans to build on Helicon, his homeworld, but Gal refuses. Instead, she places herself back into cryosleep, and programs the Raven to return her to Synax, a journey that will take 138 more years. 138 years later, Gal Dornick awakens once again, now over 170 years after leaving Synax. She finds her homeworld completely underwater, following a strange light beneath the water. She dives into the ocean, and discovers a submerged ship, and inside it, a second cryopod. Inside is Salvor Hardin, who had entered the pod in a desperate attempt to find Gal, following the strange psychic bond they shared, and hoping their paths would one day converge. The two women finally meet. Salvor explains everything, including the final twist. She is Gal's daughter, created from Gal's genetic material without her knowledge during the original voyage to Terminus, a truth revealed to her by her adoptive mother. Together, Gal and Salvor now hold the future of Hari's psychohistory, and prepare to search for the second foundation, Hari's hidden backup plan. Season 2 picks up with Gal, now fully aware of her powerful precognitive abilities, sharing a terrifying vision of the future. A mysterious psychic tyrant known only as the Mule will rise and destroy everything Hari Seldon has worked to build. Worse, Gal watches Salvor die in that future, helpless to stop it. Their only clue lies in a distant planet called Ignis, rumored to be home to others with powers like Gal's. So Gal, Salvor, and Hari, now inhabiting a cloned body after freeing himself from the Prime Radiant, leave Synax. On Ignis, Salvor senses something is watching them. She goes exploring and sees Hugo, or what appears to be him, only to discover it's a psychic trick. They're ambushed and captured by a group of powerful telepaths, led by Tellum Bond, who welcomes them with hospitality, but secretly has sinister plans. Tellum wishes to transfer her consciousness into Gal's body, as she does every few years, to extend her life and amplify her abilities. She begins mentally isolating Gal from Salvor and Hari. Eventually, Tellum seemingly drowns Hari in a river. But it turns out it was fake. With Gal's powers now well developed under Tellum's own training, she planted the scene in their minds. Hari never drowned. A guard under Gal's control freed him while everyone watched the illusion. As Tellum prepares to take over Gal's body, Hari returns and kills her. The other psychics, known as the Mentalics, are freed from Tellum's long-standing mind control. But Josiah, one of her most corrupted followers, remains under her influence. He shoots at Gal, and Salvor sacrifices herself by stepping in the way. Gal is devastated, her earlier vision fulfilled, but now she is determined to use this pain to stop the Mule. Meanwhile, the Empire is beginning to fracture. Brother Day, the ruling Cleon clone, declares he will end the genetic dynasty. He plans to marry Queen Sereth of the Cloud Dominion and father a natural heir, something no Cleon has done in over 400 years. But Sereth is playing her own game. She believes the Empire assassinated her family and intends to expose the truth. She grows close to Brother Dawn and secretly plans to conceive his child instead of Day's. Dusk begins to question the truth of their origins, especially when he and Rue, his former lover, discover hidden murals and ancient memories, suggesting their advisor Demerzel is more than she appears. In fact, Demerzel has a hidden history. Over 600 years ago, Cleon I found her imprisoned in a desert vault and, over time, fell in love with her. He eventually freed her, but not before embedding a neural chip that bound her to eternal servitude to the Cleonic line. To destabilize Day's marriage plans, Demerzel orchestrates an assassination attempt on him, intending to frame Sereth. She also murders Dusk and his lover Rue when they uncover her identity, but Sereth and Dawn escape together, vowing to return one day. On the outer fringes, the Foundation has evolved into a technological and religious powerhouse. Hari's vault reactivates to guide the next phase of the plan, the Second Crisis. It writes a name across its surface, Hober Mallow, which Gal heard the Mule mention in the future as the one who would pierce the Empire. Hober, a smooth-talking con man, is about to be executed by the Coral Planet's leader, Commodore Argo, when he uses a castling device to switch places with Argo, escaping in his place. Constant, a missionary for the Church of the Galactic Spirit, who witnessed the escape, informs him of a summons from the vault. The two grow close as they travel together. Hari believes Hober's unpredictability is exactly what the plan now needs. Hober attempts to form an alliance with the Spacers, a guild that controls all interstellar travel, by offering Opalesque, a substance that could free them from Imperial control. But the Spacer leader refuses, and turns him in for treason. However, Hober escapes custody thanks to Becky the Bishop's Claw, Constance's loyal pet, who creates chaos and gives him the chance to escape. Constant and Polly are also captured by the Empire during their mission to deliver a peace offering, and Day plans to execute them both. As Constant is brought to her execution, Hober arrives with Becky the Bishop's Claw, who savagely attacks Day. Becky maims him before being killed, and Polly is taken prisoner. Meanwhile, General Bel Rios, who was exiled years earlier for defying the Empire, is reinstated by Day to destroy the Foundation. Rios accepts, but only to regain his honor, not out of loyalty. Accompanied by his husband Glawen Kerr, he sees the Empire's rot and begins to question his mission. Day eventually decides to travel to Terminus in person for what he claims is a peace summit, prompted by pressure and dissent within the Empire. But it's a trap. When Director Cermak extends a hand in peace, Day stabs him and orders Riosi to crash the massive warship Invictus into Terminus, destroying it completely. General Bel Rios obeys, even though his husband, Glawen Kerr, had flown down earlier to support the Empire's assault and peace summit, leading to his death as well. After that, he wants to navigate to other planets under Foundation control, which Riosi refuses to do. Day tries to order the Spacers to obey instead, but the lead navigator, secretly in contact with Hober, uses a sequence stored in Hober's cybernetic implant to trigger a self-destruct across the entire Imperial fleet. Enraged, Day launches Bel Riosi into space in punishment, but Bel uses Hober's castling device to switch places mid-air, and it's Day who is flung into space and killed. Unbeknownst to the Empire, the Foundation had foreseen Terminus's destruction. Under Hari's direction, the population was evacuated into the vault and stored in four-dimensional space. The Foundation faked its own destruction, and is reborn as the secretive Second Foundation. Back on Trantor, Demerzel reinstates the Cleonic cloning process and creates 3 new clones of Cleon, then deletes Queen Sereth from the historical record. And now holds the Prime Radiant, handed to her by Gaul during their brief alliance. With it, she refused to support Day's war on Terminus, and now has access to Hari's psychohistorical equations, which she intends to use to protect the Empire on her own terms. The season ends with Gaul training the Mentalics to control their abilities before placing herself and Hari in cryosleep. In the distant future, 150 years from now, the Mule is already reshaping minds across the stars, but this time, Gaul will be ready. That's it for Season 1 and 2. Check back here when Season 3 drops for a full, detailed recap.